Chapter number 10, ICAI questions. Test your understanding. Question number 1. Roma Limited has entered into a contract with Dorma Limited. There is a condition in the contract by virtue of which Roma Limited is required to get its financial statements reviewed for a year on a quarterly basis in accordance with the financial reporting provisions of the contract. Can Roma Limited get its financial statements reviewed from a professional accountant in practice? The above financial statements are prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework in accordance with requirements of a contract. Financial statements prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework can also be reviewed by a professional accountant in practice, and review report may be issued in accordance with SRE 2400. Next, test your understanding. Question number 2. You are conducting a review of the financial statements of a company. It is gathered upon inquiry that there is a possibility of material misstatements in the financial statements. Describe how you would proceed further in the matter under SRE 2400. If the practitioner becomes aware of matters that causes the practitioner to believe that the financial statements may be materially misstated, the practitioner shall design and perform additional procedures sufficient to enable the practitioner to conclude that the matter or matters is not likely to cause the financial statements as a whole to be materially misstated, or determine the matter or matters causes the financial statements as a whole to be materially misstated. Additional procedures focus on obtaining sufficient appropriate evidence to enable the practitioner to form a conclusion on matters that the practitioner believes may cause the financial statements to be materially misstated. The procedures may be additional inquiry or analytical procedures, for example, being performed in greater detail are being focused on the affected items, that is, amounts or disclosures concerning the affected accounts or transactions as reflected in the financial statements, or other type of procedures, for example, substantive test of details or external confirmations. Next, test your understanding. Question number 3. During review of quarterly results of a company of which you are an auditor, it is gathered on inquiries made that there has been a major fire in fabric processing plant of the company during the quarter. It has resulted in massive disruption in operations of the company. Worse still, machinery and inventories of plant were uninsured due to carelessness of concerned staff, leading to substantial losses. The matter has been disclosed in the interim financial information appropriately. Discuss how you would proceed to deal with the same in review report. Uninsured assets in a disaster are examples of events or conditions that individually or collectively may cast significant doubt about the going concern assumption. As a result of fire, there is a massive disruption in operations of the company. Besides, the company would have to bear losses as its damaged assets are uninsured. In accordance with SRE 2410, if, as a result of inquiries or other review procedures, a material uncertainty relating to an event or condition comes to the auditor's attention that may cast significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, and adequate disclosure is made in the interim financial information, the auditor modifies a review report by adding an emphasis of matter paragraph. Therefore, emphasis of matter paragraph should be added in the review report. Next, test your understanding. Question number 4. CA Seerath is conducting a review of quarterly financial information of a company of which she is also an auditor. She believes that it is necessary to make a material adjustment to the quarterly financial information for it to be prepared in all material respects in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. She has communicated the matter to the CFO and audit committee. However, no response was received even after waiting for a reasonable time. What are the options available to her? In such a case, options available to her in accordance with SRE 2410 are whether to modify the report or the possibility of withdrawing from the engagement and the possibility of resigning from the appointment to audit the annual financial statements. So, three possibilities: modify, withdraw, resign. Integrated case scenario. Below is given an incomplete draft text of the review report on the review of financial results of Fast Operations Limited, a listed company, in accordance with the SEBI regulations. The review is a compulsory requirement under SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements regulations. The incomplete areas of the report have been marked as into independent auditors review report on review of interim standalone financial results. 2 into we have reviewed the accompanying statement of standalone unaudited financial results, unaudited financial results of Fast Operations Limited, the company, for the quarter and 6 months ended September 30, 2022. The statement being submitted by the company pursuant to the requirements of Regulation 33 of SEBI, Listing Obligations and Disclosure Requirements Regulations 2015 as amended. This statement, which is the responsibility of the company's management and approved by the company's board of directors, has been prepared in accordance with the recognition and measurement principles laid down in Ind AS 34, Interim Financial Reporting, prescribed under Section 133 of Companies Act 2013, read with the relevant rules issued thereunder, and other accounting principles generally accepted in India. Our responsibility into dash we conduct our review of the statement in accordance with the standard dash issued by ICAI. A review of interim financial information consists of making inquiries primarily of the company's personnel responsible for financial and accounting matters and applying analytical and other review procedures. A review is substantially dash based on our review conducted as stated in paragraph 3 above dash using your knowledge answer the following questions to complete the draft text of review report of Fast Operations Limited. The name of the addressee is missing from the text of draft review report. Identify the most appropriate opinion. First one, audit committee. Next, board of directors, CFO, stock exchange on which shares of the companies are listed. Board of directors. The name of the addressee is board of directors. It is addressed to board of directors. Under para 2 of the case study, choose appropriate sentence beginning with our responsibility. Options are: our responsibility is to express an opinion on the statement based on our review. Next, our responsibility is to express a conclusion on the statement based on our review. Third, our responsibility is to provide a reasonable assurance on the statement based on our review. Fourth, our responsibility is to express a compliance statement on the statement based on our review. Option B is correct. Our responsibility is to express a conclusion on the statement based on our review. Next, third one, given the description of the case study, which of the following engagement standards is most appropriate to be stated in para 3? SRE 2410, review of interim financial information performed by the independent auditor of the entity. Next, SRE 2400, engagements to review historical financial statements. Next, SS 700, forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. SA 810, engagements to report on summary financial statements. For para 3 means here the standard is option A, SRE 2410, review of interim financial information performed by the independent auditor of the entity. Next, which of the following statements is most appropriate to be inserted in the sentence beginning with a review is substantially dash in para 3? A review is substantially broader in scope than an audit conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing specified under section 143 subsection 10 of Companies Act 2013 and consequently does not enable us to obtain assurance that we would become aware of all significant matters that might be identified in a review. Accordingly, we do not express an audit opinion. Next, a review is substantially broader in scope than an audit conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing specified under section 143 subsection 10 of Companies Act 2013 and consequently does not enable us to obtain assurance that we would become aware of all significant matters that might be identified in an audit. Accordingly, we do not express an audit opinion. A review is substantially narrower in scope than an audit conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing specified under Section 143, subsection 10 of the Companies Act 2013, and consequently does not enable us to obtain assurance that we would become aware of all significant matters that might be identified in a review. Accordingly, we do not express an audit opinion. A review is substantially less in scope than an audit conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing specified under Section 143, subsection 10 of Companies Act 2013, and consequently does not enable us to obtain assurance that we would become aware of all significant matters that might be identified in an audit. Accordingly, we do not express an audit opinion. Option D is most appropriate. A review is substantially less in scope than an audit conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing specified under Section 143, subsection 10 of Companies Act 2013, and consequently does not enable us to obtain assurance that we would become aware of all significant matters that might be identified in an audit. Accordingly, we do not express an audit opinion. Next, complete the paragraph 4 of case study from following options. What is paragraph 4? Based on our review conducted as stated in paragraph 3 above, dash. This is paragraph 4. Under that option A, nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the accompanying statement prepared in accordance with the recognition and measurement principles laid down in the aforesaid Indian accounting standards and other accounting principles generally accepted in India has not disclosed the information required to be disclosed in terms of Regulation 33 of the SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements, Regulation 2015, as amended, including the matter in which it is to be disclosed, or that it contains any material misstatement. Next, nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the accompanying statement prepared in accordance with the recognition and measurement principles laid down in the aforesaid Indian accounting standard and other accounting principles generally accepted in India has disclosed the information required to be disclosed in the terms of Regulation 33 of SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements, Regulations 2015, as amended, including the manner in which it is to be disclosed, or that it does not contain any material misstatement. Third, the accompanying statement, prepared in accordance with the recognition and measurement principles laid down in the aforesaid Indian accounting standard and other accounting principles generally accepted in India, has disclosed the information required to be disclosed in terms of Regulation 33 of the SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements, Regulations 2015, as amended, including the manner in which it is to be disclosed, or that it does not contain any material misstatement. Fourth option, the accompanying statement, prepared in accordance with the recognition and measurement principles laid down in the aforesaid Indian accounting standard and other accounting principles generally accepted in India, has disclosed the information required to be disclosed in terms of Regulation 33 of the SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirements, Regulations 2015, as amended, including the manner in which it is to be disclosed, or that it does not contain any material misstatement and gives a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company as on date of interim financial statements. Here, option A is correct. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the accompanying statement, prepared in accordance with the recognition and measurement principles laid down in the aforesaid Indian accounting standard and other accounting principles generally accepted in India, has not disclosed the information required to be disclosed in terms of Regulation 33 of the SEBI listing obligations and disclosure requirement, Regulations 2015, as amended, including the manner in which it is to be disclosed, or that it contains any material misstatement. Test your knowledge. Question number 1. Discuss why inquiry is important as an audit procedure in an engagement to review financial statements. Why inquiry and analytical procedures are important in review. Evidence obtained through inquiry is often the principal source of evidence about management intent. However, information available to support management's intent may be limited. In that case, understanding management's past history of carrying out its stated intentions, management's stated reasons for choosing a particular course of action, and management's ability to pursue a specific course of action may provide relevant information to corroborate the evidence obtained through inquiry. Application of professional skepticism in evaluating responses provided by management is important to enable the practitioner to evaluate whether there are any matters that would cause the practitioner to believe the financial statements may be materially misstated. Performing inquiry procedures also assist the practitioner in updating the practitioner's understanding of the entity and its environment to be able to identify areas where material misstatements are likely to arise in the financial statements. Next, test your knowledge question number 2. CA Aditya Jain is auditor of a listed company. He is also required to carry out a quarterly review of financial statements of a company in terms of regulatory requirements. He is already well versed with the business of the company and has deep understanding of the company. Discuss any 5 procedures by which he can update his understanding of the company for carrying out quarterly review. Some of the procedures performed by the auditor to update the understanding of the entity and its environment, including its internal control, ordinarily includes the following: reading the documentation to the extent necessary of the preceding year's audit and reviews of prior interim periods of the current year and corresponding interim periods of the prior year to enable the auditor to identify matters that may affect the current period interim financial information, considering any significant risks, including the risk of management override of controls that were identified in the audit of the prior year's financial statements. Reading the most recent annual and comparable interim financial information, prior period interim financial information, considering materiality with reference to the applicable financial reporting framework as it relates to the interim financial information to assist in determining the nature and extent of the procedures to be performed and evaluating the effects of misstatements, considering the nature of any corrected material misstatements and any identified uncorrected immaterial misstatements in the prior year's financial statements, considering significant financial accounting and reporting matters that may be of continuing significance, such as material weaknesses in internal control, considering the results of any audit procedures performed with respect to the current year's financial statements, considering the results of any internal audit performed and the subsequent actions taken by the management, inquiring of the management about the results of management's assessment of the risk that the interim financial information may be materially misstated as a result of fraud, inquiring of the management about the effects of the changes in the entity's business activities, inquiring of the management about any significant changes in internal control and the potential effects of any such changes on the preparation of interim financial information, inquiring of the management of the process by which the interim financial information has been prepared and the reliability of the underlying accounting records to which the interim financial information is agreed or reconciled. Next, test your knowledge question number 3. What is the significance of a date of report in a review report? The date of the practitioner's report. The practitioner shall date the report no earlier than the date on which the practitioner has obtained sufficient appropriate evidence as the basis for the practitioner's conclusion on the financial statements, including being satisfied that all the statements that comprise the financial statements under the applicable financial reporting framework, including the related notes where applicable, have been prepared, and those with the recognized authority have asserted that they have taken responsibility for those financial statements. Next, test your knowledge question number 4. CAP has issued a review report dated 28/7/2022 for financial results of a company for quarter ending 30th June 2022. Describe his responsibility, if any, for events occurring from 1st June 2022 till date of review report in accordance with SRE 2410. The auditor should inquire whether management has identified all events up to the date of the review report that may require adjustment to or disclosure in the interim financial information.